Okay, so I'm ready, and hopefully the speakerphone will be loud enough to pick up. Maybe I'll move it a little closer. Okay, so yeah, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. All right. I am about to start the recording.
Okay.
Okay. So, hi, Sarah. We've talked before, but I'm Marissa. I am glad that today we are going to be doing a toe reading.
Yeah.
How are you feeling right now? Do you have any questions about toe reading or what goes on during the process?
I don't think so. I'm just excited to give it a try. I did get a toe reading once at Sweeha, maybe about a year and a half ago. So I have a little bit of experience with it, but I had a really fun time, and I'm excited to do it again.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Cool. I'm excited too. So, the first thing I must ask is, I just want to ask permission to look at your toes.
Yes, you totally have permission.
Okay. So, I have pulled up a picture of your toes of week one. So, I'm going to be going off of that. So, is there any preference, left or right toe, or left or right toes that you wish to start with? A little bit of an explanation of the difference. The right side is how you step into the world, how you fulfill your sole purpose out to play. And the left side is more of your relationship and connection to yourself and your spirit. So, if you have any preference, let me know, and then we can start there.
I think starting with the right is good. I'm definitely right dominant.
Okay, all right, sounds good. So we will start with the right. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to explain the different elements of each toe. I'm just going to explain it very briefly, and yeah, and then we'll get into a little more detail. So for both feet, the first toe is called the ether toe or the destiny toe. The second toe is called the air toe or communication toe. The third toe is the fire toe or the action toe. The fourth toe is the water toe and the relationship toe. And the left toe is the earth toe and the trust or prosperity toe. So, okay, as I'm looking at your right foot now, I'm going to start with the ether toe. So, your ether toe looks very, I would say, long and elegant. I do notice that it is pointed straight. I am not seeing any curve or crookedness, so that's really good. So straightness of your ether toe could indicate that you are on path, moving straight forward with your path or in fulfilling your destiny. So would you say that, right, you are walking your destined path?
I think so. I mean, I don't feel like I always have, and I always have had straight toes. I don't notice any changing, but I don't think I was always on my destined path, and I think I'm definitely coming more to that point. I don't know if I would say I'm there 100%, but I'm definitely going in that direction and learning a lot about exactly what my destined path really is and how exactly I want to walk it. So I think I'm really close and definitely going in the right direction for sure.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. So from what I'm hearing, it's just part that, you are continuing to just move forward on every day towards your highest path. That's good. It definitely shows in your toes. So another thing I'm noticing about your ether toe on your right side is that your nail is pointed upward towards the heavens. This indicates optimistic thoughts and optimistic approach to life. Would you say that you have a very optimistic view and perception of this world?
Yeah, that's actually interesting because I didn't really notice that my toe was pointing up, and it's interesting that you said that because the our professor didn't mention that, and I didn't even notice that, and now I just looked at it, and it kind of is, and I really feel like I have always been like a glass full half full kind of person. Like I feel like I've dealt with so much, but for some reason I've just really never struggled with anxiety or like feelings of overwhelmingness. Like I've just really felt like I have stayed pretty positive about most things in my life.
Wow, that's amazing. I want to acknowledge you for having such a optimistic view, even when the times are getting tough. That's really strong and brave of you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
But, yeah, right. So, okay, another characteristic of your ether toe on your right side that I'm noticing is that the tip of your toe is large and very rounded. So this could indicate that you are able to fluently articulate big ideas that are influencing to others, and that you haven't been settling for less. Would you say that your path that you're walking, that you do express those inspiring and moving ideas to others around you?
I definitely think so. I think that one's a little bit more circumstantial, depending on maybe who I'm around or what it's pertaining to, but there's definitely some aspects of my life where I could really see that coming through.
Nice, that's great. That's good. So, okay, there's just one more thing I'm noticing specifically on your right ether. It's a really small little bunion on I think it's the joint area. Okay. A bunion growing in could indicate, I'm reading it straight from the glossary from our book, is named as self-imposed restriction or strict upbringing. Actually, just to explain the self-imposed restrictions. So can you think of any self-restrictions that you put on yourself, either recently or in the past?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to bring up, and I literally never noticed a bunion, and it kind of like makes sense because like whenever I try on shoes or something, the right one's always a little bit tighter, and I'm always just like, oh, what the heck is that? Like I just thought maybe my foot was a little bigger, but now that I'm taking this class, and then our teacher mentioned it first, and I don't think I noticed it. Honestly, it's kind of weird, but because of my tattoo on my other foot is on top of that bone, and it's really dark, so I didn't really have it. It's very like distracting, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. So I just felt like And you know, it's not very big or noticeable, but now I've been kind of not obsessing about it, but I'm just been checking it out a lot. And it definitely makes sense that I would have a bunion because I feel like I have had a lot of like, just from my childhood specifically, had a lot of, you know, just kind of burdensome responsibility that like did take a toll on me, definitely. But it has gotten a lot better, so hopefully the bunion doesn't get any worse. I know they tend to grow usually. I know people have a lot of like I have a friend that had to have surgery and all this stuff, so it's kind of scary, but I definitely feel released from that burden, so I hope that it doesn't get any worse. Like I haven't noticed it getting bigger or anything, you know, like I barely even noticed it was there. But yeah, I've definitely experienced some things in my path that have like taken a toll on me and weighed me down and, you know, caused some like pain and scarring for sure.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That's really great that it's something that you have really worked to release. It sounds like you have a good grip on it, and that it really definitely sounds very clear that you are still like your strength has been able to just kind of pick you up from that, and yeah, that's really great. It's interesting. It will be interesting to see, in a few, even weeks or so, if that funding kind of just starts to fade away. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, okay, I'm gonna move on. So, I wanted to pull up. So, for some of the physical characteristics include a huge ether toe, larger than life, which is kind of what we went over a little bit. Would you say that your ideas and your whole path is, metaphorically larger than life?
That is kind of a hard thing for me to relate to just because I don't particularly know how I feel about the phrase larger than life. I think I definitely have some like really awesome ideas and like some really great mindsets on things. I just don't know if I'd say they were larger than life. I feel like they definitely fit within life and pertain to it. But like I just don't think I've ever really understood that saying specifically. Just I don't know. It's just like, you know, anybody else probably would be able to relate. But definitely, I think for what I think it's supposed to mean, I would say yes.
Good. Yeah. It sounds like some of your ideas are just very influencing and can really make a huge difference to the people who are, come across your work or come across you like in person, that you'll be able to really, influence and inspire them in the usual way that you do. So another characteristic of a monk is the space between the ether and the air. So that's kind of what I wanted to see. Sorry, I'm trying to.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go off of the monk. So some of the characteristics of the monk archetype are a lifelong quest for knowledge. They are most likely teachers. Or sorry, no. Yeah, would you say that you are on the path towards seeking higher knowledge and also kind of just exploring the different areas that kind of feed your mind with new and exciting information?
Definitely to an extent, and I know that some people are just like very natural, like just like information seekers, like philosophers, and are just all about it. I'm definitely not at that point. Like I totally have some strong interest and I love exploring them and I love learning about new things, but a lot of times I'm mostly focused on like I'm really into relaxation and fun. And I feel like just experiencing that in my life would probably outweigh just like peace and happiness would outweigh my drive for knowledge and skills. That I've met people that really have that drive and I've even like envied them for it, but like I just feel like it's not me all the time. But it definitely does relate to my life, just not in the extent that I know it could. But it's definitely a portion of myself, I would say.
Good, that's awesome. Well, okay, so one last question regarding the ether is, have you stepped into your destiny?
Have I stepped into my destiny? It's really hard to say. I'm completely content with where I'm at and what I'm doing and my direction, and I think that really kind of encompasses um, destiny to me. I think it's going to unfold how it should. I do trust that. I don't know. I mean, I would say yes because I mean, I don't know if this is I just feel like I'm maybe not there yet, but I'm totally on the right path. So I would say I'm on the path to my destiny and walking towards it. I don't know if I'm fully encompassed that, but it's like kind of the journey philosophy. Like I don't know if I'll ever be there, and having that expectation might, I don't dwell on that or think that I'm not fulfilling my destiny. I just really kind of take it how it is and like focus on what I do hold important and feel that it will fall into place and lead to my destiny. So I would say yes.
Yeah, it sounds like you are very good at just living in the present moment and just really appreciating and being happy and fulfilled with where you are now and what you're doing now. And that's something that's very valuable. So I just want to let you know that.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So, okay. You're going to move on to the air itself. Your right air toe is a kind of symbolizes the communication you have with the world and the expression that your personal expression, and also the right air toe holds information, stories, and thoughts from the past. It could be anything from praise to criticism. So, all right, the first thing I'm noticing about your ear toe is that it's very long, and the tip is a little bit larger than the rest, but it's still very rounded. So, let's see. I'm sorry, I'm just shuffling through all my notes here. So, okay, so the long and straightness of your ear toe could be a symbol for your ability and your expression for standing up for the ideas that you believe in and moving forward with them. Would you say that you normally stand up for your ideas and your beliefs?
I would say so. I don't think it's as strong as I would want it to be or that it could be, but I would say so.
Okay, good. So the roundness of the tip of your ear could be an indication of the subtle and gentleness of the communication that you have with others. How do you feel about how you communicate with others, on an everyday basis and on a more intimate basis?
Yeah, I feel like I've always been like very polite and accommodating, even to the point where like it'll put me out of my comfort zone or just make me feel obligated to do things sometimes. But yeah, I feel like I'm always been a very polite, not necessarily shy, but maybe not like willing to stand up for exactly what it's getting better as I get older. Um, but that's kind of how I feel about that.
Great. So it sounds like you're very, like you said, a gentle communication with others. That's really awesome. So, okay, how long the length of this AXL is an indication that there is a lot of capacity for effective communication. Would you say that you are living up to the highest capacity of effective and healthy communication in your life, or yeah, would you say that you are?
I would say no. I think that's lacking. I don't think I'm terrible at it. I just think I have a lot to learn, and it's definitely an area of focus for me right now.
Wow, that's great. Um, so it sounds like it's something that you have an awareness and you're just really you're doing your best at moving forward and what you kept working on. Okay, there's a very, 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 very slight bend in the tip where the joint, the very top of the joint is to the toe. The bend could be a little bit of a, I'm going to say, bend in communication. You did mention that that's something that is in your focus right now. So would you say that there's a little bit of a area of your communication that you could straighten out?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Good. Okay. So again, your toenail is pointed up to heaven, which is an indication of your optimism. Would you say that overall your communication with others is held in an optimistic light?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Good, that's awesome. So, okay, so I'm going to move on to the fire toe. So, the fire toe or the action toe is an indication or symbolizes how we step forth with our action and put our word, use our words and what we want to do and actually move forward with them. So the first question I'm going to ask is how would you rate the action that you take in comparison to what you know you want to do and what you do accomplish?
Oh man, that's kind of tough. I feel like me and most people would say that I would wish I could be executing things and projects and just kind of bucket list type stuff. Just pretty much all my priorities in life and all my ideas, and I definitely have so many ideas. It's hard to pick out which ones that I really want to spend a lot of time and energy on and what would be the most fulfilling. So I always, I feel like I do sometimes wish that I could be a little bit more motivated and execute these things. But also, I am never hard on myself about it. Like I said before, I like really enjoy and appreciate just being at peace in life, and I don't really feel like I necessarily need to like accomplish not anything at all, but just I don't want to make myself crazy feeling like I need to accomplish more than I really do and make myself crazy or stressed out over it. So I'm very like sound with what I do accomplish, and I think I have a healthy balance in that realm. I think that I'm totally happy with kind of what I'm doing, but yet sometimes there's obviously something buried in there because sometimes I'll feel like I need to be doing a little bit more, but and the balance is evening out more and more as I get older as well, and I'm starting to do things that I want to do opposed to things that I felt like I had to do. So I think there's a good balance growing in that area.
Great, that sounds awesome. I really love how you mentioned that as you know, as you learn more, that you're able to really just find some good balance. So I think that's really awesome. So one more question: is there anything holding you back from creating more or doing more?
I wouldn't necessarily. I would blame it on anything or anyone, except for myself potentially. But I don't think I'm necessarily holding myself back. I mean, yes, there's sometimes that I could be doing more, but it's just in that time in my life, I make the decision that, it's more important for me to do something else. So I mean, in that aspect, I am doing what I'm doing by not doing what sometimes I feel like I should be doing. I know that's kind of a riddle, um, but yeah, I mean, it's just kind of an interesting thing because it does go a little bit back and forth, but I really don't feel like I'm being held back. I feel like I'm getting more and more liberated and comfortable with what I want to do.
That's great. So the right fire toe is very strong and yes, strong. I'm saying strong, straight, and flexible. So this is an indicator that you are a go-getter and good at completing your task. So that is so great. Kind of just went over that a little bit, and you mentioned that you're very happy with what you do get, what you do accomplish. So yeah, we kind of already went over that, but I just want to acknowledge that. So let's see. So one of the little characteristics of the fire toe is related to the heart chakra, and I just want to point out that your toe, your right fire toe, to me does look like you put heart and soul into what you do. So I want to acknowledge that. Okay, I'm not seeing too much more, except that fire toe is a little bit leaning on the air toe. So is there any sort of connection between the communication and the action that needs improvement that you think, or was one dependent on the other?
That's interesting. I mean, I haven't really thought about that, and I'm sure I could pull up examples that would support that in my life. But I don't necessarily strongly feel that my action relies on my communication or vice versa. I definitely think they're linked. I think that if I maybe communicated with myself in a different way, I would have more action or so on and so forth. But nothing really is strongly standing out to me with that.
Okay, alrighty. So we're going to move on to the water toe. The right water toe is your relationship with others, in relationships with the world. So your water toe is very long and it's pretty straight. It looks very strong and definitely looks flexible. And also the toenail is upward pointing. So this is an indication of that your affection to others, that you can be accommodating and have compassion for others as well as being humble. Would you say that your relationship with the world is flexible and compassionate?
I think sometimes I struggle a little bit with that actually. Just kind of my relationship with others and humanity in the world can sometimes And as I'm growing older and becoming more at peace with it, I've become a little bit more accepting, and trusting is the biggest thing. But I think that's kind of been an area of struggle for me, actually.
Okay. So, it's more, so if you're having, the area that you're struggling is the relationships and then a trusting in those relationships.
Yeah, I would say so. I've definitely had a lot of really great relationships, and I do in my life, but I feel like that is the area that is lacking, and I would like it to be um, at a higher level in my life, just better relationships, maybe even more relationships, but just better, stronger, more trusting.
Okay. So for just a brief moment, I'm gonna go to the earth toe. Since the earth toe is the trust toe, and we kind of just brought up that an area for a relationship that would need that you would like to see improvements on is trust. The earth toe is, yeah, again, it's very light. It's not, dramatic. It's lightly just kind of leaning up against the relationship toe. So, um, is there a connection between past relationships, current relationships, and the trust that was either present or broken in those relationships that kind of makes it two connected?
Yeah, I would definitely say those two are really connected, and those are like definitely my problem areas.
Oh, wow, interesting. So your toenails for both are pointed up as well. So it seems that you are holding an optimistic viewpoint. Would you say that you're still very optimistic about this?
Yeah, I don't feel like severely emotionally distraught over it. I feel accepting of it, and I feel like there's definitely going to be a lot of amazing um, things in my future that pertain to my relationships. And like even now in the last few years, I've um, had made a lot of new really amazing relationships with people, and trust is like still a little bit more of a problem area, and I am optimistic about it, but it is certainly an area that I still struggle with. But I think the relationships has gotten quite a bit better, and I'm definitely optimistic about both.
So another thing I'm seeing from your toes is that your toenails are very open, which is an indication that you are ready to receive. So in this case, ready to receive the relationship that you're desiring, and also ready to receive that trust that you're also desiring. Would you say that you're open to, being receptive of those?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Good. So, let's see. So, okay, the water tone, the relationship. So, very, very lightly bent. Has there been anything that has bent your relationships in the past, relationships with the world or others?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, so okay, and I'm just gonna ask one more question for the relationship. So what would you say your relationship with the world is? Your role or the connection that you make? What would you say about it?
My relationship with the world, I think I'm learning a lot about what that is for me. I think I had a really strong passion and relationship for the world as a child. And I think I just dealt with a lot of really heavy things in life, from ages like 3 or 4 until, until now. But I mean, it has started to, I think I'm coming back to that just like deep spiritual knowing in my true self that really does have this fascination and love and like strong relationship with the world and humanity's potential. And I've just met so many people in the last 5 or so years since I've like, you know, been an adult, quote unquote, but that have really kind of inspired me and given me a lot more hope and trust in humanity and the world.
Okay, so would you say that your relationship with the world is becoming more secure?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's great. So, okay, so also, there's like a little another. All of these are really places. I'm not saying anything, you know, dramatic or you know, eye-popping at all. There's just a very small, another bend or curve in the earth toe on the right side. Is there any sort of thoughts from others or judgments or any sort of situation that you've had with trusting others that you could think of that might be showing up in this toe?
Oh yeah, definitely. And this toe in particular, like I've always felt like I've had very kind of straight, even toes and everything. And I don't know when it happened. I noticed it. I don't think it's been that way my whole life, but I really started noticing it when I was like 18 or so. It got really, you know, deformed, and my right earth toe actually like doesn't even touch the ground if I'm just standing naturally, like if I can press it down, but it kind of just like is kinked and doesn't touch the ground at all. And it's really interesting, and I don't think it was always like that. And I kind of got in a longboarding accident, and I think I hurt my foot pretty bad, and I think maybe that may have had something to do with it, or I really don't know. It's kind of a very curious part of my life. I really don't know when it happened or how. Um, but I think it definitely could indicate something in that regard about being affected badly by relationships in the past and by trust.
Oh, interesting. So you said that toe doesn't naturally touch up on the ground.
Yeah, it stays lifted. It's so peculiar.
So, alright, so a question around that would be, is your trust with the world, is it something that is, I guess, really a block? Is there something that's keeping it like elevated to a different place? I don't know. I don't even know if that question makes sense.
I don't know. The teacher mentioned something. Well, how did she word it? She said that let me see if I can look it up. It said something about it doesn't even touch the ground. Hang on, let me find it really quick. Let's see what she said. It was kind of interesting. I don't know. I wrote her like quite a bit back and forth, so I don't even know if I'll be able to find it. She wrote me like paragraphs, but she had a kind of interesting viewpoint on it. That like maybe I'm not grounded in that sense, basically.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Would you say that kind of relates to you at all about being grounded with trusting in the world, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that's kind of my hugest issue. So I think it makes a lot of sense that that's like the one toe that I really feel like is kind of disformed.
Okay, interesting. Well, that's really great that you kind of talked about the awareness that you have about it. So what about your prosperity? Do you feel like you have a strong trust in the prosperity that you attract into your life?
I think most of the time I do feel pretty good about that. I think sometimes there might be doubt around that area, but for the most part, I would say I do have a lot of optimism in that area.
That's great. So, from what I am seeing from your life, but is there's a lot of optimism. Definitely, it seems like you're very clear with what you're doing, and you feel, you feel happy, content, and good about that. So that's really great. Are you ready to move on to the left side?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So the left destiny code. So I am seeing a tattoo on your foot. Do you want to explain a little bit more about what that tattoo means to you?
Sure. Yeah, I got it when I was pretty young, but I definitely still like hold true to it. But I've just always collected rocks as a kid, and I still do. And I just have always been really fascinated with crystals and really any kind of rock or anything like that. Like I like to tumble my own rocks, and I'm just always collected them. It's kind of excessive and a problem. I've got like rocks all over the place. Um, but so that was definitely always a focus when I was designing my tattoo. I wanted to like encompass that. And then they also kind of represent important people in my life as well. And also just kind of the meanings behind those certain gemstones, which really encompasses like, fire and lust, or not lust, fire and love for life. Um, and then peace and tranquility and like just ultimate, spiritual soundness. Um, so just kind of regarding those aspects, and then, happiness is the other one. So those are just kind of like the main points in life, like cliche, but it's right. So I think that's why it's so popular. But yeah, it just kind of encompasses all those things and has a lot of meanings to me. And then I just have always liked to do wire work as well. So it's kind of like a wire vine. I've always loved plants, and the paisleys are kind of represent like my Persian roots. So it's kind of a medley.
Wow, that's awesome. It's so significant how, like, on your left foot and your left toes are an indicate, symbol for your relationship with yourself and your spirit, and then your tattoo is filled with so many meaningful symbols of who you are at your deepest. And so that's so cool. That tattoo on your left is really significant. And yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
So, okay, so I'm going to start with the left ether. So again, your left ether has a very optimistic toenail pointing upward. There's this indication of your relationship with yourself and your spirit. So this toe is very straight and the top is very rounded and a large and round tip of the toe. So this is an indication of that you are very you fluently express yourself and your relationship with your spirit. I don't know if I'm getting that right. But would you say that you're optimistic about your relationship with yourself, I guess?
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I feel like I've always had a really strong relationship with myself.
So great. So, the large and round tip, let me see, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so the large and round tip. So, would you say that you are destined for something big, that your spirit and yourself have a very significant purpose here?
Yeah, I totally think so. I don't think that it would be to the definition that many people would define it as. I don't think I'll do anything that crazy significant by the means of someone else, but I feel like just truly enjoying my life and finding happiness and being able to help anyone else in any kind of way would be really monumental for me and really huge for me.
Wow, that's so great that you're, that you are just really, you really, really care about helping other people, and like that would be your, fulfilling a huge purpose. That's really admirable of you. A lot of other people don't talk about, like, I want this and I want this, and you're very humble about it. So I think that's really great. And the universe will reward you very generously because of how humble you are. So, okay, so overall, your relationship with yourself and your spirit, very good, very strong. So you would say that you're in tune with your higher, or I mean not highest, but like with your higher being.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that's great. So, okay, so the ether tone. We're gonna move on to the ether. So there is a little space between the ether and the air. So since your air tone on the left is an indicator of your self-talk and your inner dialogue and how you communicate with yourself. Would you say that your communication is connected in a positive way to your views on yourself? Like, are they kind of like a synchronistic connection between the two?
Yeah, I would say so, definitely.
That's good. So also the toenail is pointed upward again. So would you say that your communication with yourself is optimistic as well?
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. So, okay, so what is your heart telling you about your life path?
Well, I think I'm just becoming more and more just accepting and trusting of it, definitely. And like, I just feel like very liberated and refreshed to be doing what I want to do finally. I feel like for a long time I was doing what I thought I should be doing or what others very like literally wanted me to do. So it's just really refreshing to start my life for me, and grow on that.
Good. That's really great that your fears have diminished and that you've been able to really just step into your power. And I really like how you say that you are feeling liberated. That's such an empowering thing to feel. So that's really great. So your ether and your communication toe are looking very straight, strong, rounded. Would you say that you're gentle on yourself with the way you choose your thoughts?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
That's great. We talked a little bit about how you're not too hard on yourself, so that's really great. It definitely shows in your toes. So, all right, so we're going to move on to the fire toe. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh, that your left side toe is looking very straight, and definitely flexible, very round. Again, indicating you being able to complete your task and quote unquote being a go-getter. So that's really great. Would you say that you put into action what your highest spirit is telling you or guiding you towards?
Do I put into action what?
Would you say that you put into action what your spirit is guiding you to do?
Oh, okay, thanks for playing that. Yeah, I am, and I feel like that's an area of my life that I would like to be a little stronger in, but I'm definitely getting better and growing on that for sure.
That's great. So your air toe and your fire toe are close together. Is your passion, that would be an indication of your chosen career or passion for life is centered around something that is stimulating a sense of creative writing or creative thinking. Would you say that what you do as your career is actually, never mind, scratch that.
It's all good. Okay, we kind of went over the fire. So is there any other area of the action and like what you're getting from your higher spirit or higher self that you want to go over further regarding the fire toe? I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
Okay. Is there anything regarding like the action that you take for yourself that you're getting, or your intuition that you would like to go over, or that you would like to kind of focus on?
Not necessarily. I think I'm on pretty good terms with that. I'm definitely getting better. With that, I would like to be a little more motivated. That's an area of focus for me, but I'm feeling pretty content with it overall.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna move on to the relationship now. Oh my gosh. Okay. So your relationship toe on your left, indication of your relationship with yourself and with your higher spirit. I am noticing again that the toenail is pointed up, so it's indicating that you have an optimistic, loving, and open relationship with yourself and your spirit. Would you say that your relationship with your own self and spirit is open and optimistic?
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Okay, that's good. There's a very, very slight curve as well in the joint. Is there anything that has curved your relationship with yourself? Any experience or story?
Yeah, that pinky toe does have a little bit of swelling too. So it's interesting. I mean, I think everyone probably struggles with this a little bit, and I think I do too. Just being able to fully trust myself, or maybe even feeling guilty, I think would possibly be the root cause. Not necessarily by one particular instance, just kind of like an accumulation of my entire life, just like everything I've felt guilty for, or everything I felt like, I couldn't trust myself to do, or, even still, I feel like I could improve in that area a lot. Just really trusting myself and being, the best person that I can be, which I don't do in every situation, to be honest. So it's just kind of coming to that realization of needing to release the guilt, but also fulfilling my urge to be the best person that I could be.
Okay, I see. That's so brave of you, to acknowledge that. So you feel as if you let some guilt that has accumulated from past experiences kind of relieve that you would be able, that you would have a more straightforward and open relationship and trust of your own self.
Yeah.
Great, that's so good. Well, I have, utmost faith that this little release of emotion that you kind of just went over right now will be so refreshing for you. And yeah, it sounds like you have that you are really clear about where you stand. So that's really great. But I do, I am seeing a lot of optimism in your tone. So that's really great that you are holding so many optimistic thoughts, especially since our thoughts are manifested through our toes and our toenails. So yeah, your thoughts are very clear and optimistic, and that's really awesome. So, okay, and then just moving on to the herb shell. You mentioned a little bit of swelling. So, is there anything that you're holding on to regarding your accumulation of emotional congestion? Is there anything that you're kind of holding on to regarding that in terms of your relationship with your own trust and your own prosperity?
Yeah, I'm sure there's definitely room for release in that area, and I probably am holding on to some negative, emotional association with, those negative experiences regarding my trust, my guilt within myself, and my trust within myself, and my relationship with myself in general. It has been, for the most part, 100% positive, but there are definitely times when I do feel guilty or feel like maybe I should be a better version of myself.
Okay, so you would build, it seems like building the trust with your own self will come from making a conscious awareness to just react to every situation with your highest intent.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Let's see. I think for so again, it seems like you're very open to receive through your tone. What about financial prosperity? Would you say you're open and ready to receive the financial prosperity that your purpose and your soul has ready for you?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay. Is there any way you could, or how could you step into that openness and reciprocation of that abundance?
I think maybe putting myself out there a little bit more and really nurturing the relationships that I know have potential to really help me exceed in that area, and just kind of coming back to like being more motivated to make that happen. Like I'm definitely doing it to a certain extent, but I know if I really put myself in certain situations and followed through with projects that I know would help me with those ultimate goals, that would really help me come into that.
Great, that's awesome. So it sounds like we went over all the toes. I'm not really coming up with any more questions to ask. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you for letting me see your toes and your toenails, and I enjoyed our conversation, and I hope that some of the questions I asked were able to open up some new possibilities and new options for your future. And you have beautiful feet, and thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. It was really fun.
All right, well, thank you, and I will talk to you in a few more minutes.
Okay, yeah, so I will switch spots with you. Yeah, maybe just give me a couple of minutes.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to use the restroom. Just call me when you're ready.
Okay, for sure.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Marissa. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So are you recording this as well?
You want me to?
Maybe just in case, because I still have the same recording going. I recorded ours as well, or the one we just had that you did. So I'm just going to keep it going, but just in case, maybe just record it in the speakerphone might not even pick it up, but just to have a backup if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, just let me know whenever you're good.
Okay. Okay. All right. I have it going.
You're good?
Yeah,
Okay. So I just want to thank you so much for agreeing to meet with me and have this experience with me. I know it can be really personal, so I just want to thank you for trusting me and knowing that there's going to be no judgment on my side. This is totally a safe zone. So I just really appreciate you sharing this experience with me.
thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to give you a little bit of time to just do whatever you need to do to just feel really relaxed and centered, maybe some deep breaths or a yoga pose or whatever really helps you feel connected with yourself and open and honest. So just let me know whenever you feel relaxed and in that state.
I feel good.
Awesome. Okay, so traditionally this is a really confidential thing, but we're doing the assignment right now that you agreed to, so it will be viewed by my teacher just for educational purposes. And these are just simply curious observations, like this is purely a session for you and your benefit. There's certainly no judgment on my side. It's just going to be a fun little experiment for me too, because it's my first time. So I will definitely do my best. I'm sure I'll make some mistakes, but just bear with me, and I think it'll be pretty fun. So I'll just start by describing toe reading a little bit and what it encompasses. It's based on, it can be divided into chakras even and get really elaborate, but basically it's based on the reflexology and reflects the chakras, and there's actually assigned elements to each one that kind of encompass their meaning. So the big large toe is referred to as the ether toe, and that and it'll also change between your right and left foot. Generally, in almost all cases, your right foot is going to be about how you are in the world, how you show up, how you interact with your physical environment. And the left side is definitely more of an internal reading. It's going to be really a lot more personal and encompassing your spiritual relationship and your relationship with yourself and your intuition, your deep knowing, and those kinds of things. So the toes generally have the same kind of meaning, but it'll be different on the right side, as it will be referring to your external relationship with those meanings. And on the left side, it'll be your internal relationship with that. So the ether toe is about, are you walking your destined path? Are you fulfilling your destiny? Are you going in the direction that you deeply know that you should? And that's going to be in your physical world as well. On your left side, it'll be represented as internally. Are you walking your destined path? Are you happy? Are you at peace? Are you content with that aspect of your life? Then we have the air toe next, and that encompasses your communication. On the right side, your communication with other people, your ability to converse, to get your ideas across. If you feel like you're able to communicate with people, if anything's holding you back from that. And then on the left side, it's going to be your communication with yourself, you know, how healthy you feel that relationship is. Are you kind to yourself? Are you honest with yourself? And so on. Then we have the fire toe in the middle, and that reflects your action, your fire, your motivation. How do you act in the world? How motivated are you? How do you go about your actions? And how that kind of affects the other aspects of your life and what that may be doing for you or holding back. And on the left side, it's kind of more your internal fire. Sorry. And then the water toe is next, the second to last, and it is a relationship toe. On the right side, it's going to be very much reflected of your relationships with other people, how you go about your relationships, what's lacking, what's fulfilling you, what might be holding you back in that department. And on the left side, it's really about your relationship with yourself and your higher spirit and your inner knowing. And then lastly is the earth toe, which is the trust toe, the little pinky. So that's just kind of your grounding trust, you know, it's really reflective of trust. So on the right, it would be more representative of your trust in other people, in the world itself, humanity, things like that. And on the left side, it's going to be the trust within yourself. So that's kind of a general, quick overview of the toes and their meanings. And toe reading in general is just kind of, they're kind of representative readings of your spirit. It's kind of, there's a quote in my book that says it's a report card from spirit, which is a really cool way to look for it from a perspective of that. It just kind of can reflect experiences you've gone through, and because of how it relates to the meridians and the chakras, it kind of records these experiences and your reaction to the experiences, and you can sometimes find out some really cool stuff about yourself or have these really powerful realizations or aha moments, and it's just kind of cool to reflect on sometimes and just allow for some more spiritual growth and even personal or in any aspect of your life. So, and it's just, you know, kind of a fun thing to do. So are you feeling pretty comfortable? Are you ready to kind of start your personal reading?
Yes, I'm definitely ready. I feel really relaxed.
Awesome. Okay, so I have a picture of your toes here from the Canvas website. So it's a pretty good picture. I feel like I have a pretty clear view. I'm just going to try and enlarge it really quick. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to turn my computer. It won't go upright for some reason. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay, so first of all, just as a general overview, bird's eye view of your toes, it looks like you could fit into a couple archetypes. And that's just kind of like a general encompassing of features that you show some of. So I'll just read you a few of the things from the possible archetypes that you fit into, and you can just maybe see if you relate to any of it. First of all, there is the monk archetype. So this just means you have physically the characteristics to look for are a bigger ether toe, maybe a kind of a larger than life kind of deal, and also a space between the ether and the air toe, which you definitely have, a little more so on the left side, I would say, but you do also have a little bit on the right. So personality-wise, it would encompass a quest for knowledge or a drive to learn. Would you feel like that relates to you and your mentality on that?
Yes, I'm definitely always like seeking different new information or philosophies or ideas. I love ideas. So yeah, I would definitely feel like that creates a thing for me.
That's awesome. Were you a child that would talk a lot and ask a lot of questions?
Yeah, I was actually. I wasn't necessarily interested in like the regular school stuff, but if I ever found something that was like so mind blowing, I would just be so passionate about learning more. So yeah.
That's really cool. So, how do you feel about alone time? Do you feel like you enjoy alone time? Are you afraid to be alone? Or is that something that you really value in life?
Yeah, my alone time is my kind of like recharge time. I haven't really been getting enough of it lately, so I would like to include more. And also, when I am alone, I tend to explore, different ideas and see if there's any um, room to include new thoughts, ideas, or theories into my life. So yeah, I really value it.
That's really cool. And that's definitely reflective of the monk archetype. And yeah, I could see how you could be distraught from not getting that alone time because it is like a recharging thing that that archetype would need. So the other one, I feel like you really resonate with the monk. But the other one that would be possible is the princess. And personality characteristics would include things like maybe you desire nice things and might even go out of your way to try and acquire those. Do you feel like you can relate to that, or does that not reflect your personality?
Actually, it's pretty spot on. I I have a taste for just like high. I guess I just would say just high quality living. Not only with my material items, but also with kind of everything. Like yeah, I would definitely say that I have always been like that. I've always been into the finer side of life, and I feel like I I try to structure my life and my career to support that desire, which kind of sounds sad, but I don't know, it's how I've always been. It's kind of how I can manifest the high quality living that I want. So yeah.
No, that's, I mean, I really appreciate your honesty. And I think almost, I feel like a ton of people feel that way and maybe wouldn't admit it for one reason or another, but I feel like that's totally a fine thing to have as a personality trait. I'm sure it's like a really big motivator and drive for you, which can be really awesome to utilize.
Yeah, hopefully.
Do you feel like you're really good at manifesting wants and desires and anything that you would want to? Are you good at manifesting that into reality, or do you feel like you're lacking?
I feel like I'm lacking. I feel like I have a blockage between my manifestation, and I've been working a lot towards kind of reflecting on how I could go about just clearing whatever is going on, so that way I could just really start seeing the manifestation flow. But when I do really apply something, it's crazy how quick it comes. But there is still a blockage. But I do see the result. I do see success, but I know that there's still something in the way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure a lot of people could relate to that. But that definitely would be something that is within that archetype. If that represents you, I feel like you may have like a really strong potential to manifest things. But yeah, I think overcoming that blockage would really help you tap into that power that is within you.
Yeah.
So just one moment here. Okay, so I think that's pretty good for the archetypes. I think we hit on some good things already, and now we can go into the individual toe readings. So let me get your picture back up. So we'll start with the ether toe. And I would, are you right-handed?
Yeah.
Okay, I think naturally I would start with the right foot, but now that you kind of know what each foot represents, do you have a preference of starting with the internal or external side, the right or the left?
We can just do it right.
Okay, sure. Alrighty. So, your ether toe is definitely flesh colored. I don't see any redness or yellowness or any other discoloration, which means there is a balanced aspect. There is a health to your life path. It is a little bit crooked, pointing towards the pinky toe, the earth toe. Do you feel like there's any crookedness to your life path, or do you feel like you are exactly where you need to be, exactly within your destined path?
Yeah, I've been experiencing, I would say, some crookedness my whole life. I feel like it's kind of weird that when we started this class, I noticed that one of the rings that I wear every day would get caught on to something. And so then after learning to kind of think of everything as something, I kind of figured out that I get caught on to things naturally a lot. And I think me getting caught up or caught on to different people or energies has been something that is very, has taken me off that dominant path that I could see myself on. So yeah, I'll definitely say there's the thing.
That's a really cool story, and I just really feel like you're really good at reading the signs, and I feel like that might even be like your inner spiritual self trying to communicate with you through the physical realm, and that's really cool that you can pick up on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of weird. My brain, like, it's my favorite. It's like a crystal ring, and then it keeps like chipping because it keeps getting caught up on all these things, and I'm like, oh my god, like what's going on? But yeah.
That's crazy. That's really cool that you interpreted it like that. That's interesting. So let's see here. It looks like your right ether toe, so how you are following your path in the physical realm, in the world, it's definitely touching or even leaning on your communication toe, which I'm definitely like nowhere near an expert. So I couldn't tell you exactly what that encompasses, but I kind of just want to focus on that, and maybe just your intuition can tell us, like, is there anything leaning from or crossing over or affecting each other within your communication to other people in your life path? Is your communication to other people holding you back or supporting your life path?
Yeah, interesting. What I'm kind of picking up on is I just think that I feel like I have to adjust my communication very often because there is I guess people that I communicate with a lot that I don't know, the communication just isn't clear, and I do feel myself often adjusting to kind of I would say like what do they call it, like put like a layer of frosting over like what I say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my communication, if it was more, I guess, compassionate, like my heart was in a more compassionate place when I communicate with others, even if even if I am feeling kind of distraught, that I would have less things taking me off my cot. And then also kind of noticing the way others communicate with me and whether or not that meets me where I want to be. And I don't have to like kind of tone myself down to adjust to them. I don't know, yeah, something along those lines.
Yeah, no, I definitely understand what you're saying, and thanks for sharing that. That's super interesting. And I think maybe that would be an aspect of why they're touching like that. That's interesting. So the right toe on the right side, the ether, it's really about fulfilling your purpose here on earth. And it's about, it can encompass, you know, your purpose, and but also since it's in the physical realm, I think more literally like your career and your goals. So do you feel like there's some crookedness in that? Do you feel like you're not attaining your goals at the rate that you would want, or at all?
Yeah, I guess I would say at the rate. But it's kind of interesting because it's going really quickly, but I don't like really take the time to acknowledge like what I've accomplished so far. So I feel like if this would have been me a year ago, my answer would have been like, I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. But right now, I know the direction I'm going, and I know I'm confident with that direction. But I'm kind of stuck in the middle, and I'm kind of just trying to figure out the little details of the steps that I need to take, next. So I would say that my path, for the most part, I'm walking my, like soul purpose. So I would say that, but I would say that there are a few little things that I'm still working out to make that like a full confidence, yes, that I am doing what I feel like my soul is here to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for your honesty. I mean, I know it can be hard to admit something, so that's really cool. I can tell you're being really open. I appreciate that. So you do have a really big rounded pad, which implies that you're confident and successful and articulate. Do you feel like those describe you well?
I mean, for the most part, I feel like there's still work to be done in those areas, especially with how I guess like articulate my wisdom. I'm still kind of learning how to do that in the most fluent way. I guess I'm still learning what I need to learn to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that the path I'm on is going to bring me, success and fulfillment.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it sounds like you have a really good mentality about it and that you know what you want to work on. So that's a really awesome first step. And I'm sure it's going to have awesome results for you. As far as your ideas, do you feel like they're very big and powerful? And do you feel like you can motivate and move people with them? Or does that not describe you?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Especially since starting at Sweetheart, I feel like every day I come up with some new, like, some of them are out there ideas, but I come up with new ideas all the time. And I'm just like, wow, that's a good idea. But it's just kind of now about putting them into life or narrowing them down to, which one to really, really put my energy towards that would be, the most beneficial for myself and the people that I want to influence. But yeah, I would say that my ideas are big.
That's awesome. And I do get a sense of like positivity and optimism, and it seems that your toes are facing upwards. They're not cringed or bent in that direction. So do you feel like you are pretty optimistic and positive about your life path and your destiny and fulfilling your goals?
Yeah, I do. At the end of the day, even if I'll have a bad, like a day where I'm just like not feeling my best, at the end of the day, I just kind of like lay down and I'm like, all right, like it's okay. And I just end up being optimistic.
That's awesome. That's so great. Do you feel, if you took one deep breath and could say one thing about what is fundamentally and the ultimate thing that you would need to change or work on or realize even that would really help complete putting you on your destined path completely?
Self-trust.
The trust.
Self-trust, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I think that was a good encompassment of your right ether toe. So unless there's anything you wanted to ask or add, we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, I'm ready to move on.
Alrighty, so we have the air toe, which is the communication toe that we reviewed. So this is your communication in the world, how you show up in your communication in your everyday life, in the physical realm, with your family, friends, things like that. So what's really interesting is that on your left side, your communication toe is almost in line with your other ones, but on your right side, it's very noticeably a little bit longer. So that's just kind of interesting. It might imply that you have a really, and I mean, it's very long and straight as well. So I feel like you just have a really good, healthy ability to communicate with others in your physical life. Do you feel like that represents you, or do you feel like you might struggle in that area actually?
There are definitely different situations where I do struggle with it, and that's more of in my personal, like really, really personal and close relationships. But overall, I would say, to the majority of the world, and to the people I communicate with, that I am a clear communicator. And yeah, I would say that for the most part, but not fully.
Right. And I feel like, I don't know if it's a picture or not, and it's very slight, but I feel like there's just a little bit of redness kind of on the top where the joint is and around the nail bed as well. I don't know if you see that on your toes now. The picture is a little bit hard to tell, but I feel like that might be showing maybe some of those troubles that you do have with the communication. But I feel like overall your potential is really strong just going off of the toe reading, because you just have a really straight, uplifted, elongated communication toe, and specifically on your right side. So that might imply that your ability to communicate with others could potentially be really amazing.
Yeah. I actually always had some red there. So, from what I can remember, there's usually redness. So
yeah,
I think what you said was pretty spot on.
Yeah, that's interesting. So do you feel like you have to be defensive a lot in your communication?
Yeah, there's just like with me, and I would say two or maybe three other people that I'm really close to. There's just like a lack of clear communication between us, and it gets in the way of like so many things. And it's actually one of the reasons why I would say that I'm not fully on path, is because of those communication barriers. So yeah, I would say I definitely have to be sensitive.
Yeah, for sure. So do you feel like there's things that you wish you could say to people, but you are held back from that for some reason?
Yeah, I would say that.
Interesting.
I guess I just I haven't thought of a way to say it in the most compassionate way, so I just don't say anything at all.
Interesting. Do you feel like that kind of bottles up and builds kind of this anger or kind of just feelings of negativity?
Yeah, definitely with some resentment as well.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel any regret pertaining to your communication, like things that maybe you should have said and you didn't and you don't have the chance anymore?
Probably not. Maybe a few different situations where I could have said something, but for the most part, I would say that I usually am speak up for myself. But again, like with those few different relationships, yeah, I definitely have to just be careful with what I say before anyone, just straight up gets mad at me. So.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, again, thank you for being so honest. That was awesome. Is there any questions or anything you wanted to add onto your communication toe, or anything that you've noticed within your communication with other people that you wanted to bring up?
Oh, actually, I think it took this picture around the time that the situation happened. I had a friend, and she ended up, she took her life, and the last time I was around her in the same area, I knew that something was going on with her. I could sense it, but for some reason, I was going to go up to her and say, like, hey, look, like, I'm here for you. Like, if you need anything, like, I'll help you, whatever. But for some reason, I didn't say it. So when she ended up passing away, like, I was like, oh my God, like, I wonder what the difference could have been, like, if I would have just went up to her and, like, expressed how I feel about her or something, or just like, given her some loving words. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. That was probably the only story.
Yeah, I mean, that is so powerful. I literally just have goosebumps. I mean, that is just such a crazy concept, and like it's just such a hard thing to go through in life. And I definitely think that could be a strong area of like learning for you and helping you to move forward with your communication, and just like being able to reflect on that aspect of like what difference could it have made. Not dwelling on it, but just truly learning from it. And that's just a really, really sad thing. But I would hope you don't feel guilty or anything about that. But that's really cool that you noticed that you want to maybe communicate, or you should have, or could do better in the future. But thank you for sharing that. That's really tough.
Oh yeah, no, everything's fine. It's definitely just like something to learn, definitely something to learn. That just to trust my intuitive words, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So overall, sorry, I'm pouring myself water. If there's one thing that you feel would truly remove any blockages you have with communication, even with those few relationships you're talking about, like, is there anything you could do or that could change that would make that a healthier aspect of your life, that would simplify that and make it serve both of you in a positive way? Do you feel like you know anything that would do that for you?
Yeah, for some reason, when I have my eyes closed and I speaking to someone, I can speak better and more clearly with my eyes closed. So maybe like closing my eyes in those situations, whenever those situations come up, just like closing my eyes and just letting the words just flow without having my vision on. So I think that would help.
That's a really cool example. I really love that. I think that's awesome. I think maybe you should even try experimenting with that if you're comfortable with it. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, thank you. I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so is there anything you wanted to add or ask about the air toe before we move on?
I don't think so.
Okay, So next we're going to go to your fire toe. So this is your actions in life. This is going to be pertaining to your physical realm because it's on the right side. So it's how you are acting in life. What is your level of motivation? Are you able to execute ideas and goals that you have? Are you able to get things done that you want to do? That kind of thing. So I see on your right side that your fire toe is a little bit twisted, pointing towards the bigger toe, which may be implying that you're kind of confused in that aspect of your life, or possibly just not executing things as fast as you want to at all, feeling able to do so. So would you like to elaborate on that, like how that shows up in your life?
Yeah, I was looking at the picture, and it looks like my relationship show is also twisted.
Right.
And I would have to say that some relationships that I have with others are so energy draining or so distracting that I lose focus of like what I really care about, and it's definitely showing up in the last like year, especially. That I have some cords that I need to cut with relationships that are maybe a little too close and comfortable for me, because I do feel like some of those relationships that genuinely distract me doing what I need to do. Because when I am focused and when I am feeling, like good and clear, then I will get so much done in one day that I stop and I'm like, wow, that was crazy. But when I have something draining my energy, I just don't. So I would say that there's some relationships with people that do maybe I'm allowing those relationships to distract me.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure that is taking a toll on you. But it sounds like you're definitely aware of that situation and that you potentially would want to heal that and make that a more healthy aspect of your life. So the twistedness could also imply that you're turned away from acknowledging the truth. So do you feel like there's anything turning your acknowledgement of your truth of what you want to be executing and what goals you even have, or your ability to achieve them?
That's a tough one. Up until recently, I would say that I was so dependent on just like making money that I would just felt like my main focus was making money. So it took me away from like other things that I'm really passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And also, maybe the thoughts that some other people that they've had about me that I know, or from the past, I kind of maybe I could definitely see myself holding on to the doubt that others have in place in my mind. So I think that those two would definitely be some big factors that would turn me away from my truth. But other than that, executing my truth, I feel like I do that in a few different ways. I like to be active, so I really like just focusing on my physical, and then I also lately have been meditating every day, which is definitely new, and just really doing what I want to do. So I think I'm listening to my inner voice that's telling me, I want to do this. I think that will kind of help me become untwisted from that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And I think that was an awesome reflection. Definitely kind of encompasses what you're struggling with. I can't really tell in the picture. It looks like there might be a little bit of redness too, which is the same thing as your other toe, like kind of implying the same things, but regarding to your actions and being able to achieve what you want to. Um, let me see really quick. So if there is one thing that you know that you would be able to change or realize, what would help you create more in the world, create more of what you truly want? So it's a deep intuition knowing of, first of all, what you actually do truly want to do, and then also what would be able to, what would allow you to make more of that in your life.
I think balancing my time and also having sustained physical energy to do all of the things that I want to balance within my day.
Yeah, totally. Okay, is there anything you wanted to add on that toe?
No, I don't think so.
Alrighty, so now we are moving to your water toe, your relationship toe. So this is your relationship in the world with family, friends, and even humanity, things like that. So this is an interesting toe for you. It's definitely twisted like the other one was. So that might be implying that you may be looking somewhere else for assistance in that area or reassurance. It also is a little bit, has a little bit of a corn, or almost, I can't really tell if it's calloused or not, but definitely some congestion and buildup of negative energy. So elaborate on that a little bit if you would like to, about your relationships in the world and how that's affecting. I mean, it's reading like you have some definitely congested negative emotions in that area.
Yeah, I would say I don't really have a strong relationship with like anyone. Like even my boyfriend, I wouldn't say. I just since I was younger, I just always struggled with maintaining my relationships with my family. I don't think that was at the time a reflection of me. I think it was more a reflection of them. But since I grew up in that environment, it became my reflection. So when I started going out into the world and like making friends and getting into relationships, the shadow of my family members that raised me was reflected into me, and that became my shadow. So I was just living this negative shadow, and I had no idea how to deal with it. So now I am looking back at my relationships with my family. Like I have to just keep up, I have to keep myself safe from them because if not, like they'll just drain me. And also, like my romantic relationship has some negative aspects of it as well. And I feel like I manifested a lover who has similar shadows as me. So I feel like there's a lot of negative conjunction within my relationship, and yeah, I feel like that's definitely true. It definitely applies to my life.
Yeah, totally. So what about your relationship with the world and not necessarily people? Do you feel like that is a little healthier, or is that a little crooked and weighed down as well in a negative way?
Well, I have good relationships with acquaintances and stuff. In regards to like the physical world as like planet Earth, I feel like I have a good relationship. I like to connect to nature, and I'm getting a lot more involved in environmental things. So I feel like that is pretty good. And then as regards to just like my everyday life world, it's pretty good. I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, but it's not, it's not in the gutter or anything.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it sounds like you definitely have a love for life, and you're already practicing things like yoga, I know you do, and meditation as well, which is really, I'm sure, nurturing your relationship to humanity, the world, and other people as well. Okay. So, what do you feel from what is your intuition telling you about why are you having such negative experiences? I mean, it's one thing when you're a child and it's kind of put on you, but what is keeping you from growing out of that state? Why are you allowing to be negatively affected by these relationships? And what's really keeping you from healing that aspect of your life?
I have a lot of guilt, and I feel like the guilt that I have makes me, I allow myself to feel obligated to nurture some people that kind of just need to nurture themselves. So I definitely feel like guilt, and also back to the self trust. I'm not as trusting of myself as I could be, and I feel like if I were to trust myself more, that I would take more time for myself, and then I would also be able to just be better in my relationships, and I would trust myself to know that what happened in the past was just, in the past, and that me being the best person I can be right now is what's important. So I feel like, yeah, those aspects would definitely help me.
Yeah, I think for sure. And I think just even saying that out loud will probably just get the ball rolling and keep that in the back of your mind and kind of help you apply that to your life. So, is there anything you wanted to ask or reflect on concerning your relationship to in the physical world and with the people around you?
Not really. I think I have a good understanding right now.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, also your earth toe on your right side, which is your trust with other people, with your environment, um, and even humanity. So there's definitely some congested negative emotions there too, and it's definitely hunched. It's looking a little bit shy, and it's kind of hidden behind your other toe. So it's definitely looking like it's encountered some harsh struggles. So is there a story around that pertaining to your trust in people and your environment?
Yeah, I would say that I've had to just really put my trust in my relationships for, basic survival, like my parents and stuff. And I feel like I've developed a need of, like, I've developed a dependence on some people for my own survival. And it makes me at the end of the day, like not really trust my own manifestation or my own um, abilities to support myself, I guess.
Right.
So yeah, so I feel like that would definitely be something.
Yeah, totally. And it looks like there's almost like a corn or a hard skin um, happening on the edge kind of tip area. So it's down pressed, so I feel like that's representing a little bit of beaten downness from the whole situation. And then maybe the hard skin could be, would you feel like you would say you have a blockages or you're not able to see something the way it is? Or does that not pertain to your trust?
You said not see something the way it is.
Do you feel like you're refusing to see things the way they are or have a blockage around trusting people?
Hmm. really thought about that. Yeah, I guess my perception could be a little blurry about something. Definitely something to think about. I could have a bad perception with some relationships even, or yeah, that's interesting. Not exactly how your perception right now, but I would definitely think about that.
Yeah, no, totally just an observation, and yeah, definitely something to think about, because from the reading material, I'm just kind of getting it's hardened, it's hiding, it's kind of overlapping, or the other one's overlapping that one, hiding it a little bit. So it could reflect maybe a little bit of defensiveness or protecting yourself or even concealing something. You're a little bit hardened to life in that aspect. And the hiding could mean that you're even trying to maybe keep the thoughts out of sight in that regard, whether to protect yourself or just burying it. So, I mean, that might be something to think about and reflect on in your daily life and see how that pertains to trusting people.
Yeah, definitely. That's so interesting. Thank you.
Oh, for sure. So what do you feel from deep in? What do you feel would really be a pivotal point that would release you and liberate you into being able to trust people and trust your environment?
I think it goes back to just to trusting myself.
Yeah, totally.
And not having a fixed perception that that people's intentions are in a bad place, I guess.
Yeah, totally. Well, awesome. I mean, thank you for being so open and honest with that. I think you definitely had some cool thoughts and had some realizations. Is there anything you would want to ask or add around that aspect?
I don't think so. I think I'm definitely going to do more reflection on the hardening or pushing away of the thoughts. Like kind of what you just said.
Yeah, totally. Alrighty. So now we can move on to your left foot, which I think is really fun. It's like we went over before, your reflection of your internal and spiritual relationship, your relationship with yourself. So your other toe on your left is a little crooked as well, pointing inwards like your other one is. So is there some kind of problem or crookedness or anything holding you back internally with knowing or realizing your life path, or even just the execution of it, or being able to communicate it with yourself? Anything that's holding it back, or do you feel like you're pretty clear with yourself?
I feel like I lose trust in myself, and I also feel like I allow my thoughts to be focused outward when I could focus them more inward and be more aware of my movement and my energy.
Yeah, that's an awesome reflection. So do you feel, how would you rate your relationship with the spiritual side and with your emotional self? Do you feel like that's a healthy, strong relationship? That would be like a 10, the best, or a 1, it needs a lot of work and is not very healthy?
It's definitely gotten a lot better. So right now, I would say it's about a 7, and I think what I did, like why it's a 7 and not a 10, would be because I have some emotional triggers that just really get to me. That I allow myself to act in a way that isn't aligned with who I want to be. So I think focusing on those triggers and kind of exploring more of them would be beneficial.
Yeah, that sounds like an awesome step to take. So, what about your relationship to your higher self and your spiritual path and your intuition? Do you feel like that is about the same?
It's interesting that I got my intuition sometimes, and immediately after I got it, I am like something happened where I realized that if I would have listened to that first initial thought, it would have been different. So I think I'm learning to trust my intuition more. I think I'm learning to recognize when it's talking to me more, because sometimes I don't realize when my intuition is talking to me. But there have been a few really significant life experiences where I have felt my, I would say, spiritual being pull me somewhere, and that situation ended up being very important. So I feel like for the most part, I'm pretty connected to my higher, but I also feel like there's still some work to be done. Probably some more inner exploration.
Yeah, totally. That was an awesome reflection. Thank you for being so open with that. And again, you have the really big pad on there, very round. So it seems that you're very kind of creative, grounded, and articulate around being able to relate to your spiritual side. And it kind of sounds like you felt the same way. And it looks like you definitely have some optimism in that area. And it sounded like you kind of know what direction you want to go in. Do you feel mostly, I mean, I know you said you had some doubt in the area, which I think everyone does. And, it's just awesome that you could admit that. But do you feel overall that you have optimism surrounding this aspect of your life?
Yeah, I would say so.
Awesome. Well, are there any questions or anything you had about the ether toe on your left side?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. So let's move on to your air toe on your left side. So I mentioned your right one was a little longer on your right, and your left one is a little bit shorter than compared to your right one. But it's still very long and slender and elongated, which is showing me that you possibly have a really good communication with yourself, and you are able to talk to yourself pretty well. But the redness might imply that maybe sometimes it could be negative. But how do you feel about that aspect of your life?
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of room for improvement and growth on my thoughts to myself. I think I have a lot of mental fogginess, and then it ends up being thoughts that are just they aren't really anything. They're just it's coming, and I don't really have conscious awareness of them. So I think one thing I've learned how to eliminate that fogginess, so that way my mind is clear more often, that my thoughts to myself could definitely be more constructive and take me down the path of more success.
Yeah, totally. Another interesting thing about your left air toe is that it kind of stands alone, especially compared to your other toes. It kind of has its own space there and isn't being touched on either side. which may mean that your thoughts pertaining to your communication and your self-talk and your communication with your inner knowing is separated and almost retain an individuality. And do you feel like you relate to that?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm really seeking that utmost independence that I possibly can achieve right now. So I feel like that probably relates to that. Definitely seeking, personal, just the overall aura of just being completely independent on myself and just me.
Yeah, totally. And you know what else is kind of funny? And we worked together a few times through our like duration of the course, and even mentioning in this course you kind of just need your alone time, and it was in the monk archetype. You just need that recharging space. And then you mentioned feeling like you could communicate better and more clearly and truthfully if your eyes were closed. So this space that you have around your left air toe is kind of implying possibly that you really need space to think. You know, you might even get like overwhelmed or flustered, and you just, to really be able to truly think and speak to yourself, you need space and kind of aloneness to have that in a fulfilling way.
Yeah, you're so right about that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Well, cool.
Yeah. Cool, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything you wanted to add about that?
No, I really like what you said and what you pointed out. I think that's really cool. So I'm definitely going to be keeping that in mind.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what do you feel like would really mostly be the big pivotal or changing point that would allow you to really follow your intuition and communicate with it in a positive way and trust it and be able to really listen to the messages you're getting from your higher? Do you feel like there's a pivotal thing that you can feel that would need to change or would need to be realized in order to have that?
Probably just to slow down and to just not, just to stop putting myself in situations where there's like too much stimulation where I just can't think right. Because I've been doing that for so long that I guess I've committed myself that it's like a normal thing. But over the past few weeks, I've just kind of learned to accept that I'm just a person that if there's a lot of stimulation that is like directed towards like me or my space, that being in those types of environments just often being in those environments often just isn't what's best for me. So I think just slowing down and then doing that.
Yeah, that's so cool. I feel like you definitely had like kind of an aha surrounding that and your needs, and that's really cool. All right, so now we're going to go to your left fire toe. So just give me 1 second here. So your fire toe on your left looks very straight, especially compared to your right toe. You start having a lot of crookedness starting at your fire toe and increasing all the way down to your earth toe. And it's much straighter on your left side. So do you feel like your internal motivation and your relationship with that is a little bit healthier and straighter on internally than it would be in the physical realm?
Yeah, I do. I feel like when I really just sit down and put my whole energy into what I'm doing, and right now at like school and exercising, I just feel it's really really good when I do that. So I would say that my internal fire for what I love is strong when I really put my energy into it.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like it's pretty flexible and definitely upstanding, optimistic. So do you kind of feel like deep down you are capable of tackling any task you would want?
Yeah, I do. As long as I have the balance, and I feel like I totally can.
That's awesome. Okay, and yeah, that toe looks just extremely healthy, especially compared to the other ones, like super straight. You know, the color even looks like better than like much less red. Like all of the redness I'm seeing is very subtle anyways, but this one in particular just looks like a really, you know, healthy toe. So that must just be like a really strong potential you have in that area and that you're already exhibiting and or doing in your life. And you say you meditate and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that definitely contributes to that health. So let's see here. Also, you have a pretty rounded pad on that one on the top. The other ones are like a kind of more square or pointed. So the rounded might make you, are you kind of a, would you say, a brainstormer and able to think outside of the box?
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm usually thinking one step ahead of or at least like 2 or 3 steps ahead of like the current reality. I like to think ahead. So
that's so cool. That's awesome. Well, is there anything you wanted to ask or add about your fire toe?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. So let's look at your relationship toe, your water toe on the left side, which you can see is much different than the one in representing your physical realm and how that's been recorded. So your relationship with yourself, there is quite a bit of congestion. It looks a bit swollen and even a little bit curved under, like a shyness and kind of timidness to it. So if you want to, just how do you feel that you've been collecting all of this negative energy? What in your personal and internal relationship to your spirit and your higher self and yourself in general, what has caused you to kind of manifest this negative energy and hold on to it and keep you from releasing that?
I actually have some guilt about some mistakes that I've made. So I feel like that's definitely a good representation of the guilt that I have, which allows me to sometimes get caught up thinking that I might be a bad person or that my mistakes are always going to be a part of who I am. So I think learning how to trust myself and trust that my mistakes were made for a divine reason, and to just really be aware that be aware of my shadow with those mistakes and working with them and working through them, so that way I could just really release them.
Yeah, totally. What do you feel like would really help you to heal that part of your life? What do you think you could do internally or externally that would help heal that internal relationship you have with your higher self?
I'm not sure. The first thing that popped into my head was to run for some reason. So I don't know if running would help me like release that guilt.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think just when the feelings arise and just kind of recognizing that they're there, and then in that moment, closing my eyes and working with them and just doing that.
Yeah, very cool. Is there anything that you wanted to ask or add around that one?
I don't think so.
Alrighty, so now we're coming to this trust toe, the earth toe on your left side, which you can see is very swollen compared to your other toes. And it's a little bit crooked as well. It's one of the only ones on your left that have that twistedness. So where is this congestion of negative emotions, if that reflects your past at all, where is that stemming from and how does that affect you?
I think not trusting my potential and thinking, like allowing myself to think that I'm going to be some mediocre, woman and just do like average things my whole life. And also I feel like I'm my abundance. I forget how powerful I forget how I can manifest. So I lose trust in myself because I just forget to use my manifestation. But as soon as I step into my power, I see things manifesting pretty clearly. So it's just like a lot of self trust and not really seeing my guilt and thinking that I'm just gonna be like some normal person, like doing normal things when I know deep down inside that what I want to be doing is something that is inspiring. So
yeah, that was awesome. And that swelling might be just reflecting, just really trusting that about yourself. So it's also pretty hardened. So do you feel like you're protecting anything within that trusting yourself aspect of life?
I maybe just be protecting myself from other people. I have fears sometimes of like what other people think about me. I don't know if that kind of fits into that, but
I think that would
be something.
Yeah, totally. Do you feel like you might need a more relaxed approach to trusting yourself and your spirit?
Yeah, that would definitely be good.
Yeah, totally. That's just kind of something that the hardness that's building up might be implying. Alrighty. So, is there anything you wanted to add or ask on the earth toe?
I don't think so. I think we kind of went over pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like it was going really well for sure. I feel like you've had a lot of really cool reflections and realizations for sure. So just the last one, what do you feel like you really need to do to build that trust with yourself and your spirit?
Just keep taking steps forward and just keep being productive and keep completing tasks.
Yeah, I think that's 100% what's going to help everyone with every little thing, like just the baby steps and keep building on things. It sounds like you have a really great mentality and like overall look really optimistic about many aspects of your life, and I feel like you know all the areas that you feel like you're lacking, and it seems like you have a pretty good knowing of what you need to do for each of those too, which is really cool, which is I think kind of the hardest part. So I think that's just awesome. No, yeah, for sure. I thank you for doing this session with me, and I hope that you benefit from it and got something out of it. And I definitely had fun and learned a lot. And I just want to thank you so much for sharing this experience with me. And I hope we can do it again sometime, maybe when we're a little bit more knowledgeable.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sarah. You did a really great job, and your questions are very stimulating.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. It was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Well, sorry, I stopped the recording.
Okay, so